In the previous lecture we created our markup, and now I'm about to show you the CSS part, which is actually at the moment empty. And in this lecture we will only cover the main parts that I write on every of my CSS project. So the first thing that I usually do is to make things more realistic and more consistent. So if you have idea about the project, you know how colors or what type of colors you are going to use, like color types, there are so many, and colors code. For example, in this one we have three main colors, like the green one and brown, and then this one bluish. So I identify these colors in any of my project and I list down into the root pseudo class. So the first thing I do is to hide actually the root settings, right? And in the root settings write this root pseudo class. What I usually write in root, I write about the colors and then font size and then spacing, like margin and padding. So as our project scope is very little, so I'm not about to write down about the font size, spacing, margin and padding, but I'm about to show you that how I utilize my CSS variables in any of my project. And for that I'm setting my color like this one, like primary, secondary, tertiary and gray light, and these are the colors that I just fetched out from this design. And yeah, so what I do is actually this one, like color primary. So we have a code color for primary, so I just copy it here and then paste it here. And then I have color secondary. So in secondary we have color set of this one, and I'm about to copy this one. And then we have tertiary, actually color tertiary, and this one is the color for tertiary. And then after that I have color gray light, color gray light, and this one is the color one. And this is what I do. So the project is scoped, like this is a small project, so I'm not about to show you the whole process, because I think you have just get the idea what I usually do. So I write down the colors, write down the font size, spacing including margin and padding, and some other reusable things. I just put it into the variable and use it later again and again. That's what I do. In HTML root element, what I usually do is to write down the box sizing and set it to the border box. I know there are a lot of tutorials and a lot of things out there to understand this, so I think I just don't need to extend this lecture to show you because I'm about to show you my flow, what I usually do in all of my projects. And the next thing I do is set the font size, the main font size, and set it to the percentage so that it will get the actual font size of the browser, 62.5%. This is what I do in my HTML element. So after this root settings, always move to the universal reset. Universal reset. In universal reset, I target all of my elements including after and before, and set them to the margin 0 and padding to 0. And then box sizing, to inherit. So it will inherit from the HTML element, HTML, which is the root element. After resetting my all of the elements to margin 0 and the by default padding 0, what I usually do is to set the body. In body, I usually set it to 1.6 rem. That will be equal to 16 pixels because we are setting it here 62.5%, which will be equal to 1 RAM, and then 1.6 will be 16 pixels. And then I set the font family. We are using the font family of Open Sans, so I'm about to include it here. Font family Open Sans, and then default one will be sans serif. I actually also do to write the line height. I set it to the line height to 1.6 or 1.5 according to my requirements of the design. I think you get the idea. It's enough. I will see you in the next lecture.